Did you know that one of the 10 women was a concubine and later became an empress? Or that another leaped to her death from a cliff due to unrequited love? This video uncovers shocking, surprising, and sometimes chilling facts about 10 ancient and historical women. Watch and be both amazed and surprised. 1. Cleopatra VII, 69 BC, 30 BC. Born in Alexandria, Egypt, Cleopatra was the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic kingdom. She was the daughter of Ptolemy XII Auletes. Her children faced significant challenges after her death, primarily due to the power struggles in Rome and their mother's fall from grace. Cleopatra had 4 known children: Ptolemy XV Philopator Philometor Caesar, commonly known as Caesarion. He was the son of Julius Caesar. After Cleopatra's death, Caesarion was captured by Octavian's forces and killed, marking the end of the Ptolemaic dynasty. Alexander Helios. He was the son of Cleopatra and Mark Antony. After her death, he and his twin sister were taken to Rome. He disappears from historical records, and it's believed he may have been raised in a Roman household, but his fate is uncertain. Cleopatra Selene II, also the daughter of Cleopatra and Mark Antony. She was taken to Rome and later married King Juba II of Mauritania. She had children and played a significant role in her husband's kingdom. Ptolemy Philadelphus, the younger son of Cleopatra and Mark Antony. He was also taken to Rome. Like his siblings, he fades from the historical record and not much is known about his life afterward. Cleopatra had several siblings, including Ptolemy XIII. She had relationships with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. Highly educated in various subjects, she practiced Egyptian religion, worshipping gods like Isis. She was engaged in politics, diplomacy, and had a keen interest in science and arts. Some shocking and surprising facts about her. Fact 1. Cleopatra had 3 of her siblings killed and 1 exiled and then killed, all for power. Fact 2. Her feminine allure was exploited as a means to secure alliances, making her a powerful yet vulnerable figure. Fact 3. Cleopatra was not ethnically Egyptian, but embraced Egyptian culture. She was of Macedonian Greek descent, the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic kingdom, and was the first in her dynasty to learn the Egyptian language. Fact 4. She conducted a naval battle against her own brother, Ptolemy XIII, which showcases her strategic acumen and willingness to take drastic measures to maintain her power. Fact 5. Cleopatra is believed to have staged a grand entrance to meet Julius Caesar by rolling herself up in a rug, highlighting her dramatic flair and cunning in using theatricality to captivate powerful men. Fact 6. She was a skilled alchemist and had a keen interest in medicine, even experimenting with various potions, which may have contributed to her image as a mysterious and knowledgeable queen that may have poisoned her enemies. Second Boudicca, circa AD 30 to AD 60. She was queen of the Iceni tribe in ancient Britain and was likely born in what is now eastern England, though the exact location is not definitively known. Information about her parents and children is scarce. Boudicca was married to Prasutagus, king of the Iceni. She was ethnically Celtic and educated in warfare and leadership. Like most in her community, she had polytheistic beliefs, worshipping Celtic gods. On a daily basis, she managed her kingdom's affairs and was fiercely protective of her family. Some shocking and surprising facts about Boudicca. Fact 1. After her husband's death, she led a brutal revolt against Roman occupation, shocking Rome with her ferocity. Fact 2. Boudicca was originally a queen of the Iceni tribe, but after her husband's death, the Romans annexed her kingdom and brutally mistreated her family, prompting her revolt. Fact 3. Her army is estimated to have burned down several Roman cities, including London, Londinium, and she became a symbol of resistance against oppression in Britain. Fact 4. Boudicca's army is said to have included not only male warriors, but also women who fought alongside men, challenging the traditional view of gender roles in ancient warfare. Fact 5. Her forces burned the Roman cities of Camulodunum, modern Colchester, Londinium, London, and Verulamium, St. Albans, causing widespread destruction and loss of life. Nevertheless, she's remembered as a symbol of resistance and strength. Fact 6. After her defeat in the Battle of Watling Street, Boudicca is believed to have either taken poison or died from shock or illness. Fact 7. After her death, she was reportedly buried in an unmarked grave, and the exact location of her burial remains a mystery, contributing to her legendary status in British folklore. Third Hatshepsut, circa 1507 BC, 1458 BC. She was the fifth pharaoh of the 18th dynasty of Egypt. She was likely born in the ancient city of Thebes, which is modern-day Luxor. As the daughter of Pharaoh Thutmose I and Queen Ahmes, she had several siblings, but most were overshadowed by her. Hatshepsut was married to her half-brother, Thutmose II. She was ethnically Egyptian and was educated in administration and statecraft. Spiritually, she was devoted to Amun, the sun god. She oversaw massive monumental building projects and trade expeditions. Some shocking and surprising facts about Hatshepsut. Fact 1. Hatshepsut declared herself pharaoh, taking on the full regalia of a male pharaoh, including a false beard and male clothing, to gain power, challenging gender norms of her time, and to legitimize her rule in a male-dominated society. Fact 2. To legitimize her rule, Hatshepsut ordered the defacement of monuments and inscriptions of her predecessors, including those of Thutmose II. Fact 3. After her death, her name was systematically erased from historical records by her stepson Thutmose III, who sought to diminish her legacy and power. Hatshepsut's image was often vandalized, and her monuments were defaced to erase her from history, reflecting the lengths her successors went to undermine her legacy. Fact 4. Hatshepsut's ambitious building projects, including her mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari, were so grand that they were compared to the pyramids, showcasing her desire to leave a lasting legacy as a powerful pharaoh. Next, fourth, Joan of Arc, 1412–1431. Also known as Jeanne d'Arc, she was a peasant girl born in Domremy, a small village in northeastern France. Her parents were Jacques d'Arc and Isabelle Romay, and she had several siblings but never married. Joan had limited formal education but had strong religious conviction. Deeply religious, she claimed to have visions from saints. She worked in the fields until called to lead. Some shocking and surprising facts about Joan of Arc. Fact 1. Joan of Arc did lead French troops during the 100 Years' War, most notably achieving significant victories, including the Siege of Orléans. Fact 2. Joan was only about 17 years old when she led troops into battle, and her strategies were so effective that she inspired the French army to several significant victories against the English. Fact 3. Despite her pivotal role in turning the tide of the 100 Years' War, she was ultimately betrayed, captured by the Burgundians, and sold to the English, where she was put on trial. The charges included heresy, witchcraft, and wearing male clothing, which was seen as a form of cross-dressing. Fact 4. Joan was posthumously exonerated of her charges of heresy and was canonized as a saint in 1920, centuries after her execution, reflecting the changing perceptions of her legacy and the Church's view on women leaders. Fact 5. She claimed to have received divine guidance through visions and messages from saints, which motivated her actions and helped her gain support as a military leader. Fact 6. Before her execution, she was subjected to psychological torture, including being paraded in front of her accusers in a trial designed to humiliate her. Fact 7. She was subjected to brutal treatment before her execution. On May 30th, 1431, she was executed in Rouen, France. Accounts indicate that she was stripped of her clothing before her execution, which added to the humiliation she endured. During her execution, she was tied to a stake and burned alive, and she remained resolute in her faith, calling out to Jesus and the saints as she died. 5th Empress Dowager Cixi, 1835–1908. She was born in Manchuria and later became the de facto ruler of China. Empress Dowager Cixi had one son, the Tongji Emperor. She came from a Han Chinese family and had several siblings, but most remained obscure. She was an ethnic Manchu and received a traditional education. Cixi followed Confucianism and Buddhism. She managed the imperial court with shrewd political maneuvering. Some shocking and surprising facts about Empress Dowager Cixi. Fact 1. Cixi started her career as a concubine to the Xianfeng Emperor and was initially seen as a secondary figure. Fact 2. Cixi initially supported the Boxer Rebellion, but later ordered the suppression of the movement, leading to the deaths of many Boxers and foreign nationals. Fact 3. She is often blamed for the decline of the Qing dynasty, yet she initiated several modernizations, including the establishment of a modern navy and reforms in education. Fact 4. Cixi was rumored to have had a close relationship with her first lover, a man who was executed on her orders after she was to marry the emperor, illustrating her ruthless pursuit of power. Fact 5. During her rule, Cixi supposedly managed to hoard vast amounts of wealth, which she used to fund personal projects, including the construction of a lavish palace, highlighting her disregard for traditional governance. Fact 6. Cixi allegedly orchestrated the death of her own son, the Tongji Emperor, to replace him with her adopted son, further consolidating her power and influence over the Qing dynasty. 6th. Queen Nefertiti, circa 1370 BC, 1330 BC. Nefertiti was an Egyptian queen and the great royal wife of Pharaoh Akhenaten. The exact birthplace of Nefertiti is not definitively known, but she is believed to have been born in the region of Akhetaten, which is modern-day Amarna in Egypt. She was likely the daughter of a high-ranking official, though details are scarce about her early life. She was married to Akhenaten, with whom she had 6 daughters. She was ethnically Egyptian and educated in art and religion. Nefertiti worshipped the sun god Aten alongside her husband. Her daily life involved being engaged in religious and political affairs, often depicted in significant roles in temple rituals. Some shocking and surprising facts about Queen Nefertiti. Fact 1. Her beauty was so renowned that her bust remains one of the most iconic symbols of ancient Egypt, yet her reign was also marked by political upheaval that changed Egyptian religion forever. Fact 2. Nefertiti, alongside her husband Akhenaten, promoted the worship of a single god, Aten, over traditional Egyptian deities, leading to the closure of temples and the persecution of priests. Fact 3. Her famous bust, discovered in 1912, became a symbol of beauty and femininity, yet her role in governance and religious life was equally influential and often overlooked. Fact 4. Some Egyptologists believe that Nefertiti may have ruled as a co-regent or even a pharaoh after Akhenaten's death, possibly even assuming the throne under a male name, which would have been unprecedented for a woman. Fact 5. Nefertiti may have been instrumental in the establishment of a monotheistic religion in ancient Egypt. Fact 6. There are rumors that Nefertiti might have lived well beyond the traditional timeline of her death, possibly taking on a new identity, which adds to the mystery surrounding her legacy. 7th. Hypatia of Alexandria, circa 360–415 AD. She was a mathematician, astronomer, and philosopher in Egypt. She was one of the first notable female scholars. An ethnic Greek, she was born in Alexandria, Egypt, the daughter of Theon, a mathematician and philosopher. Little is known about any siblings. Ethnically Greek, she was highly educated and known for her teachings in mathematics and philosophy. Spiritually, Neoplatonism was her philosophical foundation. Her daily life included teaching in Alexandria, engaging in scholarly pursuits, and advising influential politicians. Some shocking and surprising facts about Hypatia. Fact 1. She was brutally killed in 415 AD by a Christian mob who stripped her of her clothes, dragged her through the streets, and killed her with sharp objects. This marked the end of an era of philosophical inquiry and learning in Alexandria, highlighting the clash between science and faith. In addition to marking a significant turning point in the decline of classical philosophy, it also marked the rise of religious intolerance in the ancient world. Fact 2. Hypatia was not just a mathematician, she was also a skilled astronomer and philosopher, leading a school in Alexandria that attracted students from all over the Mediterranean. Fact 3. She was a prominent figure in a city rife with political and religious conflict, and her death was not only brutal, but also symbolized the violent clash between science and religious fanaticism in late antiquity. Fact 4. Hypatia was rumored to have been involved in a scandalous love affair with a powerful politician, which was likely the catalyst for her eventual downfall, reflecting the precarious position of women in power. Fact 5. After her death, her works were largely suppressed, and her legacy was twisted to fit the narrative of rising Christianity, with some claiming she was a witch due to her scholarly pursuits. Fact 6. Following her death, she was so revered that she became a figure of legend, and some tales suggest she transformed into a deity in the eyes of her people, illustrating her lasting impact. 8. Artemisia I of Caria, circa 480 BC. She was a queen and naval commander who ruled the ancient city of Halicarnassus. She is most famous for her role in the Persian Wars, particularly during the Battle of Salamis. Artemisia was likely born in Halicarnassus, which is modern-day Bodrum, Turkey. Information about her family and personal life is limited. Ethnically Greek, she was educated in warfare and leadership, adept in maritime strategy. Spiritually, she followed traditional Greek religious practices. Artemisia's legacy as a capable and respected naval commander is well documented by ancient historians like Herodotus. Some shocking and surprising facts about Artemisia I of Caria. Fact 1. Artemisia betrayed her Greek allies during the Greco-Persian Wars by providing intelligence to the Persian king Xerxes I. Fact 2. While Artemisia did fight for Xerxes at the Battle of Salamis in 480 BC, historical accounts suggest that her role was more advisory than directly leading troops in battle. However, she did defy gender norms of her time. Fact 3. Despite fighting for the Persians, she was highly respected by the Greek forces for her bravery, with historians noting her exceptional leadership and tactical prowess. Fact 4. Artemisia was so admired by Xerxes that she reportedly advised him against attacking the Greek forces at Salamis, showcasing her tactical intelligence despite ultimately siding with the Persians for her own political ambitions. Fact 5. Artemisia reportedly survived a mutiny on her ship, demonstrating her ruthless determination and leadership skills. Fact 6. After the death of her husband, Artemisia assumed the throne as regent for her young son, Pisindelis. She ruled the ancient city of Halicarnassus and the nearby islands of Kos, Nisyros, and Kalymnos. 9. Queen Elizabeth I of England, 1533–1603. She was the last monarch of the Tudor dynasty and ruled England during its golden age. Born in Greenwich, England, she was daughter of King Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn. She had a half-brother, Edward VI, and half-sister Mary I. She never married and was known as the Queen untouched by a man. Elizabeth was highly educated and fluent in multiple languages. She was Protestant and navigated complex religious tensions in England during her reign. Her daily life included state affairs, patronage of the arts, and strategic diplomacy. Some shocking and surprising facts about Queen Elizabeth I. Fact 1. Her decision to remain unmarried and present herself as chaste symbolized her independence, ultimately challenging traditional gender roles in a patriarchal society, and was politically motivated. Fact 2. Queen Elizabeth I had her cousin Mary, Queen of Scots, executed. Mary was a rival claimant to the English throne, and her presence in England posed a significant threat to Elizabeth's rule. After years of political maneuvering and imprisonment, Elizabeth ultimately signed Mary's death warrant. Mary was executed on February 8, 1587, after being found guilty of plotting to assassinate Elizabeth and take over the throne, which many historians doubt. Fact 3. She used a public persona that portrayed her as eternally youthful and untouched by a man, famously never allowing her portrait to depict her aging, manipulating her image to maintain political power and public support. Fact 4. Throughout her life, Elizabeth had close friendships with men, notably Robert Dudley. She also, as a political strategy, used her persona as chaste to cultivate an image of independence and power. In 1560, Dudley's wife, Amy Robsart, was found dead under mysterious circumstances. This event fueled speculation about Dudley's involvement and intensified gossip regarding his relationship with Elizabeth. The scandal made a marriage between them politically dangerous. It could imply that Elizabeth was complicit in a plot to remove Dudley's wife. Fact 5. She sponsored privateers like Sir Francis Drake, who attacked and plundered Spanish ships, contributing to international conflict. Last, Sappho, 630 to 570 BCE. Sappho was an ancient Greek poet and is one of the most celebrated figures in literary history. She was likely born in Eressos, a town on the island of Lesbos in Greece. The exact dates of her birth and death are not well documented, but she flourished in the 7th century BCE. Sappho's father was named Scamandronymus, and she had a brother named Caraxus, who is mentioned in her poems. There's little known about her mother, but she is often associated with a well-off family, suggesting some degree of privilege. She was of Greek descent and likely received an education typical for aristocratic women of her time, possibly involving music and poetry. Sappho was deeply connected to the worship of the goddess Aphrodite, often invoking her in her poetry, which celebrated love and beauty. Her spirituality reflects the broader religious practices of her time, which intertwined personal experience with divine influence. Some shocking and surprising facts about Sappho. Fact 1. Sappho was reportedly exiled from Lesbos to Sicily, likely due to political strife linked to her family's connections. This reflects the ruthlessness of ancient Greek politics, where personal allegiances could lead to severe consequences, including exile. Fact 2. Her poetry is often marked by raw emotion, including expressions of longing, jealousy, and heartbreak. This intensity was shocking for a woman of her time, challenging norms of feminine restraint and often leading to her portrayal as an outsider in male-dominated literary circles. This led to scandal and controversy, especially in later periods when her work was censored or altered to fit moral standards. Fact 3. Sappho's open expressions of love and desire for women were revolutionary and led to her being labeled as a symbol of female homosexuality. This was both shocking and dangerous in her time, contributing to the later term sapphic being used to describe same-sex love between women. Fact 4. Throughout history, Sappho's life has been shrouded in scandalous rumors, including stories of her relationships with her female students. Fact 5. Sappho allegedly leapt to her death from the Leucadian cliffs due to unrequited love for a ferryman named Phaon. Fact 6. Sappho is credited with developing the lyric poem, which focused on personal emotion and individual experience, contrasting with the epic poetry of her male contemporaries. This shift was both revolutionary and, for some, disconcerting in a patriarchal society. Each of these stories reveals shocking and surprising truths that challenges conventional views on gender and power. By exploring their lives, we gain valuable insights into the resilience, ingenuity, and, yes, calculating actions of 10 ancient and historical women, making their stories not only fascinating, but also deeply relevant to contemporary discussions about women's roles in society.